I don't know. I guess the basically what happened was, so I went to prison, and in prison, I focused on my Bible. You do basically what you always do, at least as, Christians, what you always do, or people who believe in God, not exactly Christians, but you do what you always do, and you're in despair. So jail and prison, they're first of all, they're not the same, but they're physical places of despair. It's almost like you can, like if you can imagine like a prison of someone's brain or inside their head where they're trapped. If you can imagine that and it being in a physical form, that's what prison is like. Think about the times where you were at your lowest, where you just didn't think that you can get out of that. You're just like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I'm down. Lord, help me. Crying every day, just sad. Think about that place, wanting forgiveness, wanting to repent for whatever you have done. Think about that type of sadness and that type of despair. And then imagine it in a physical form. That's exactly what prison is. So, yeah. So, in prison, you know, I dive into my Bible, dive in, and I'm talking about reading, praying, reading, praying, reading, praying. And I don't know, like if anybody's ever been to jail, but there are people in there. They call them jail or prison lawyers. And they're always telling you what they think will happen. Okay, so you haven't went to court yet. You know what I think is going to happen? You'll probably get this amount of time, and then you're only going to have to serve this amount of time because they're frequent flyers in jail and prison. It's like they have this sort of prison degree, if you will, because they've experienced so many people coming in and out of prison, in and out of jail, and they know how those type of cases go. They've been there for so long. So yeah, they're giving you they're giving me like this these inklings and rays of hope. So okay, you'll probably get this amount of time for that. Oh yeah, you'll probably get this amount of time. It's like a big deal. Okay, cool. And I also had a lawyer, and my lawyer was also echoing exactly what they were saying. So I'm in there, I'm praying, I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm reading, I'm praying, I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm praying, I'm crying. God help me, Lord Jesus, please help me. Please forgive me. Repenting, just in there, that's all I stayed focused in was that and playing spades because that's what you do. You have to pass the time sometime, some way. You're there all day. You're not going to work. You're not doing anything. You got to pass the time somehow. So I'm in there praying, and then they say my court day is going to be on this day. Okay, my lawyers prepare me to go home. And God has basically brought me out of the situation. God has said, yes, you're going to go home. This is what I thought because I'm listening, right? Okay, I'm listening. But let's just talk about how my relationship with God really wasn't that strong in the first place. I was one of those sometimesy kind of Christians, grew up in the church, all of that, went to church all the time with every side of family. Um, we were in church 3 days a week sometimes, choir practice. I'm talking about summer camp, just anything that you can think of in the church. So, but when I got older, of course, I'm out here committing crimes, out here doing whatever I want to do because I had to find a way. Um, and I'm just, wilding. And I didn't have really a relationship with God at all. My prayer was the same prayer every single night. I could recite it to you. I can recite it to you. That's how it was the same, the exact same prayer, like a little rinky-dink prayer that you do every night. It wasn't really conversing and talking and talking to God and trying to figure out some things him and I having conversation. It wasn't any of that. So I'm thinking, okay, God, he's already answering my prayers. I prayed all this long time that I've been in here already, and because it takes a long time for you to go to court, and then I get to court, and I'm talking about y'all. I was ready. I got my hair washed, got my hair cleaned. I was showered. I was ready. Okay, I was ready to go home. Ready. And my lawyer shows up, and you could tell he was kind of like a drunk, a little alcoholic. He was a little sloppy. He had on the suit that had like some jelly on it. Just I automatically, I don't know, but in my brain when I saw that, I was like, this is already not good already. So um, I don't know. I don't know that I think that jelly spot gave me like this kind of bad feeling for some reason. Um, I don't know, but anyway, so the judge, he's the lawyer. My lawyer's asking for probation, saying that I help my mom pay bills, and I have a job waiting for me, and the judge asked him what kind of job it was, and he proceeds to tell him the exact type of job that I had. And the problem with that was the judge looked up and was like, wait, she's doing this for a living and she did this type of crime. They go hand in hand. Okay. Y'all, the job was how I got to prison in the first place. But we're going to go into that another time. But listen, y'all, the job was how I got to prison in the first place. So for my lawyer to even mention that job, really, I was like, what? I wouldn't have even done that. And I'm not a lawyer. So I couldn't believe it when he said the job that I had. The lawyer said, that job? Oh, actually, no. You need to sit down for a second. I'm going to sentence you to 3 years in prison. Okay, prison. Yeah, those words came out of his mouth. And I'm thinking, y'all, I'm going in there. I'm going to get probation. I'm going to be out of there. I'm going to get probation. No, he wants to sit me down. I had no family there at the courthouse because my mom was just thinking, okay, I'll come get you as soon as I get off work. We were all in, like we had our whole plan. We were ready with our plan of how I was going to get home, how everything was going to go, where I was going to be at, da da da. And I was devastated. And I cried and cried and cried and cried. And I had to call my mom and tell her that that was not going to happen. That was not the case. I was going to have to go to prison. I was going to have to go to, I don't think he said prison. I think he just said, you're going to have to sit down for a little bit. I'm going to sentence you to this. I don't think he actually said prison out of his mouth because it never registered in my brain that I was going to go to prison. So, yeah, I had a call and that letdown, it was such a letdown. And the first thing that people do when they're let down, even if they're not Christians, most of the time if they're not, they ask God, why did you let that happen? They ask it and they beg and they want to know why, why would you do this to me? And for a second, I blamed him. And I blamed him. I was upset. Um, I thought he had forsaken me, and um, immediately I started to rebel against him in a way that I don't think I would have done if I wasn't in jail. And that is when I became a lesbian. Okay, so a girl was there. She had all the right words and everything, and um, it was she was in a situation of despair as well. Now that I realized, and we, got together, and it was at that point where I said, "Oh, I guess I'm gay now. I guess this is me." And not only did I, become a lesbian, but I also strayed away from God even more because I said, "Oh, you don't even like gay people. You're not even interested in gay people, so definitely not your friend. You definitely don't love me." And we had a long 11-year, 12-year divorce, he and I. And all during that time, my life did not get better. It did not. It just kept going south, kept getting worse. And um, I started going through these cycles of just brokenheartedness. And nobody could heal my heart. It just kept, it was broken. And through all my tribulations and all my trials and all these health problems. That's also around the time where my health started kind of going back and forth. Um, after prison, before prison, it was horrible. I was going to the hospital all the time. I'm talking about ICU hospital. I was being admitted for days and days at a time. And then when I went to prison, and then I got out of prison, um, my health started to take a turn where it was kind of getting better a little bit. So then that gave me more reason to say, well, see, God, you didn't do that. This is what happened because I got out and I made stuff happen, and now look at me, I'm getting better. Um, it was all these things that were going on that was kind of like alienating me from the Lord, and I just know that was all the devil. It was all demons. The demons and the devil were trying to attack me, and they've been trying to attack me for a long time, a very very long time. But there comes a point where I just had to wake up, and it was almost like I snapped out of a long coma. It took a long time, yes. Um, I didn't realize over these last 12 years how crazy my life had gotten, and the reason for that. Um, I thought it was because of me. I thought everything was because of me. And while a lot of it was because of me, but I also have to realize that the devil does attack, and he can make you think that it's you, but it's really his plan. Um, See, they both have plans, and I tell people this, like, God and the devil are both fighting constantly, and they want to win all the souls. Each of them have the same exact goal. God wants to win everybody and take everybody with him and love everybody and have everybody be on his team. The devil wants to hate everybody but wants everybody to love him and worship him and be on his team. So they're both at this fight all the time. And they will do anything to get you to come to their side. Both of them. So you just have to kind of figure out which side are you trying to be on. Which way are you trying to go? You trying to go to heaven? You trying to go to hell? And so the whole time the devil was attacking me and making me feel like that we were friends. And I don't really know how to explain that, but it was like my own sins and my own struggles and my own health issues. All those became such a part of me and so ingrained in me that I let it be my identity. And I used those things as ways to either get what I want or to say that I couldn't do certain things. And like I was I was just a broken mess. And nothing could have prepared me um, for the awakening that I've had over the last 4 months. I don't think I would have ever seen this coming. And 12 years of brokenheartedness, and it started before that, but I'm just going over the last 12 years. 12 years of brokenheartedness and sadness, and just um, there's little peaks and mountains of happy a little bit sprinkled in there because the devil has to sprinkle a little bit in there to make you think that you are winning. He has to sprinkle something in there so that he can keep you. He can keep you on your team, on his team. That's what he wants to do. He wants to keep you on his team. And y'all, the devil had gotten me so caught. I'm going to share this story with you. You know how I'm like an advocate of mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I really do feel like shrooms are given to us from the Lord. They were grown. They're grown, right? And the Lord creates all foods, all things, all plants, all animals, all everything. He creates everything. So they were put here for a reason. And I'm a huge advocate of shrooms. It does take you to these psychedelic places, but it also just brings you really inward to yourself, and it also cuts off a lot of ego. And I've had a lot of fantastic trips on shrooms where I've learned a lot of things about myself. And all those little trips, I believe, were leading me back to God. When I think about the times and the trips that I've had on mushrooms, never any kind of devilish encounters. I didn't have any of that. I didn't experience any of that. What I experienced was each time my consciousness leveled up, and I was like, well, this is why I do this, and wow, this is why. And it's like you figure things out about yourself on the shrooms. That's what happens a lot of times. Some people just take it for recreation. I took them at a dose that allowed me to figure out some things. That was my goal every time. So there was this one time in January, y'all, this year in January, we did the shrooms with a person that we were hanging out with at the time, and we did the shrooms, and she considers herself to be on a very high level of consciousness as well. She considers herself to be very close to God, and she doesn't surround herself with all that foolishness. That's what you know. That's what y'all grandmas say. I don't surround myself with all that foolishness. But anyway, so we were doing the shrooms, and she hadn't really done them for real, for real. Like she had like a small dose before, but she had never had her actual proper dose. So this time she had her actual proper dose, and um, during the shroom experience, she kind of sits up and she gets antsy, and like it's like, oh, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And we're all, shrooming out. We had a good little bit of time, like a good 30 minutes at first. And then all of a sudden she gets up and she was like, yeah, I gotta go. And it's like, what? We're like, what? You gotta go? What do you mean? You can't drive on shrooms. You cannot, y'all, you cannot drive on shrooms. Do not ever drive on shrooms. You can't do that. So don't do that. But she jumps up and she's just like, I gotta go. And I gotta go, and I gotta go. I can't be here. She kept saying it. And we were just like, what do we mean? What's going on? And I was like, she's got to, and I'm saying she's got to tell me what's happening. Like myself is saying out loud, I need her to tell me what's happening. I need to know because it has to. I said I know it has to do with me. For some reason, y'all, I was convinced. Listen, I knew that it had something to do with me, and I don't know how I knew that, but I just knew it. I was like, I said, no, she can't leave until she tells me what the hell is going on. So she leaves, actually leaves and drives home and everything. I don't even know how she even got there, but she drove home, got there safely. And we reach out and we're like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? And we don't get anything. No, I just, I'm cool. What's going on? Like, it was like she was pretending like nothing was going on, like nothing had happened. We're like, this is very weird. I don't know what the heck is even, I don't even know what the heck is happening. Um, so basically, y'all, she finally breaks it down and tells us that there were demons behind me. There were demons behind me, standing behind me, saying, I gotta move. I gotta see something. Somebody just called my phone. Messing up my damn story. Okay, so she finally tells us like what happened. And she's like, there were demons behind you, Tiffany. And they were saying, you can't have her. She belongs to us. You got to get out of here. Leave. Telling her to get out, and like now, like so loudly, and making her get out. And they said that you can't have her. That she, she belongs to us. Talking about me. And I'm telling y'all, it, at that time, I was like, what? No, you know, no, that's no way. And the place where I was living, I had always felt like this pull. to keep me stuck. And it was keeping me stuck in my bed. The whole house was just like keeping me oh, just in a state of sadness and depression. I was chained to that bed, but I was like, no, it's nothing wrong. There's nothing here. I love this place. This place is amazing. Like, I love it here. That's how I know that I was in such a state of the devil was really rocking me and cradling me and holding me and telling me that everything was great, but I knew it was not. But he was keeping me in a state, it was like an abusive relationship. It was like Stockholm syndrome. It was like you're in love with your captive, with your captor. Yeah, you're in love with the person who has, hold over you. And it almost became as if I wanted to get out of it, but I couldn't because I don't know, I liked it for some reason. I don't even know how to describe it, but that's how the devil plays with your mind. He uses his minions, his demons, his people, his folk, his homies. He uses them to hold you and to hold. And when she said that, I refuted it. I was like, yeah, right, that's not the case. But later on, I realized that she was absolutely 100% correct. There were actual demons holding me. And they didn't want her speaking life into me because they wanted me to constantly feel the sadness and and being distraught like I was. So when I say in these videos on social media, and I'm telling y'all that the devil really thought he had me, I'm letting you know that he really, really thought he had me. He thought he had me wrapped to the point where his homies was like, no, you can't take her. She belongs to us. And I was sitting there like, yep. I mean, I think about it and it's just like, I can't make this up. It's crazy. So months later, and I'm saying months, like 6 months later, I get to, well, no, 5 months later. Y'all, I have been at that time when that happened, when she saw the demons holding on to me, at that time, I had already been sick at that time for 7 months. I was going into my seventh month of just being sick. And then about 6 months later, so now it's over a year, I get put in the hospital because of whatever's going on. I was like, this enough is enough. This is probably like my third hospital visit and my second long hospital stay. I was there for 28 days. 28 days in the hospital. And it was at that time in the hospital where a nurse sent a chaplain in. And the chaplain came in to talk to me and told me what to do to, see if I can get contact with God and have a talk. She also gave me some things to color. And it was in that time of me just being in that room and being by myself in the silence and just sitting with God where God finally spoke to me. And I heard him. And he was like, I need you to come back now. And I was like, what? You still want me back? Me? But I had to be out of that house because the house was not prayed up. The house was not governed correctly because we were practicing and all that divination. The house was not set up in a way that I was going to be able to hear God. It was too much noise. So I had to be out of that place. And yeah, in that hospital room, he came to me. I had a literal come to Jesus moment. I was in there hooting and hollering and screaming and crying. And right after that, I never went back to that house. I was scared of the house now. I knew what the house had, and I knew how it had a hold on me, and I knew the things inside of that house had a hold on me, and I knew that all the stuff that I had bought, all the purchases that I had made, they all had a hold on me. All the designer things, all the Gucci and everything in that house had a hold on me. And I was worshiping those things. So many different things going on in that house. I did not want to go back to that house. So I went to go stay with my mother. Now this is in June. And then we went um, to New Jersey for our family reunion. And my family, I wasn't even going to go. The devil was trying to keep me. The devil was trying to keep me from going for some reason. My sister said, no, you'll be going. She literally made an executive decision on her own and said, you will be going. And everybody followed suit. And they said, oh, you'll be going. That's it. And that was it. So I went. And all my aunties and my uncles and all the elders, and even my cousins, they all laid hands on me. Before this, I had gotten saved, maybe like an hour and a half before that, I got saved at church because I was at church with my dad Mike, and something just kept nudging at me, and my leg was shaking, and I was like, "No, this is not the time. Like, no, this ain't it." And it kept nudging me, and it was almost like a push, like get up. And then I got up and went down there. Best decision I ever made. That's my auntie was screaming, she was crying. My auntie Lois, and she helped me with that whole getting saved part. I went down there. My uncle was down there with me. My mom's brother, his wife, my other cousin. We all got saved that day, and it was a great day. And then when we went to the family. We went to the whole family luncheon, and um, the elders put their hands on me, and y'all, I sat up there and I see all my cousins, my little cousins, all my older cousins, everybody hands held out. It was a good maybe 100 people in there. Everybody their hands are held out towards me like everyone is praying, even the little kids. And my aunties are laying hands and they're speaking in tongues, and feel, I could actually feel the demons leaving me. And I don't know if y'all understand what that's like because I didn't know I I didn't really know that they were in there. And I could feel them leave out to where I had to breathe out like I felt them when I breathed out and they came out. And it's crazy because my sister's boyfriend, he came, and this is the first time he's really meeting the family. And I didn't feel not one piece of embarrassment. I didn't. He's not part of the family. Everybody else that was there was, but he's one of the ones that don't know how we operate. I didn't feel not one piece of embarrassment, and he looked and nodded, and it was just like I see you. That's all he did. He didn't say anything, but it was that nod, and everybody just went on about their day. And my aunties decided they wanted to pray for me again, my mom's sisters, and they did. And um, to have a family like that is like to have a family like my family is a really big deal because not everybody is blessed with a God fearing family. And I know that there was a lot of prayers going on for me for months and months, probably years, a lot of prayers going on for me. And I think that some of them felt that at that moment their prayers were realized. And ever since then, I just felt like this lightness. And I've just felt so light. And so when I am saying that, when I go out and I say these things that I'm saying them out of y'all, right now you could say that, I'm going through a hard time right now, with different aspects of my life though. So like financially, I was never a good steward of my money when I got it. Different aspects of my life right now are crazy. My relationship is very, very crazy. I had just a lot of stuff going on, right? Um, and I feel a joy and a happiness that I have not felt. It's very, the thing that God wants is for you to be completely dependent on Him. He always wants that. He wants you to be completely dependent on Him, meaning your soul happiness should come from Him. Everything that you want, everything that you desire, um, all that stuff is great, but you need to first desire to have a serious and intimate relationship with God. You want to be God's friend. You want to be Jesus's friend. And I have this feeling, I have joy that makes no sense. When I say have joy that makes no sense, it makes no sense right now that I should be waking up feeling like, oh, yes, thank you, God. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Look at this beautiful sun. Look at the trees. Look at oh my gosh, everything is so great. Oh, I'm just going to cook. I'm going to listen to my music. Everything that I'm putting into my head right now is about God, Jesus, the Bible, loving relationships, love. It's about speaking to those who need to be spoken to. The things that I am encountering right now in my daily life are not things that are negative. They're things that are positively impacting me. So I think that's changing my brain waves. And I think that with all of that happening and me building a solid foundation in God, I'm walking towards my purpose. I don't know if I'm walking in it right this second. I could be, and I just don't know it. But I just know that I wake up feeling a lot happier than I did last year. Last year at this time was not good. It was absolutely awful. Um, I felt forsaken again. It was last year, I believe last year around this time, I found out that my biological father was not really my biological father and that I had another dad. So now I have three dads. And that caused me to have some problems with my mother. And I feel like living with my mother now is working on that relationship because I've had some built up resentment towards her, and I have to give her grace. And God is teaching me that right now. A lot of steps and a lot of things happened over the last couple of years to lead me to be sitting on this couch in my sister and my mother's house, to be sitting here telling what's going on with me and telling this story. And and I I I don't feel a way about it. Like I don't feel shameful about it. I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel like, oh no, I don't want to tell people. I don't feel like that. I feel like I should be telling people because I have to make sure everybody understands that your joy and there is joy and peace in Jesus. There is a lot of joy and peace when I look forward to getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday because I know where I'm about to be going and I know how I'm going to feel while I'm there. I know who I'm talking to. I know who I love. I know who I'm pouring out my worship to. I look forward to that. I look forward to waking up and looking on my Bible app. I look forward to having a little prayer and talk with God. I look forward to that because it really does cause me to grow. And I feel like doing this right now in this moment and everybody being along for this ride, y'all gonna ride with me or not? But I feel like having people going along with the ride and sending me messages and saying, "Oh my gosh, you gave me so much hope. Oh, I feel this way. I feel this way. I feel that way." And this is where I'm at right now. Y'all have seen me go on this journey of just, you see me go up, 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 and then you saw me just go down all the way to the pit of hell. Y'all saw me on that ride. And I feel like there's a lot of people who enjoyed my ride to the bottom. And and that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but I don't really care. You can enjoy the ride at the bottom. That's cool. But who's going to be on this ride with me right here? when I'm right here, where I'm even keel right here, and I'm just like ha 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 ha, coasting, and it's like an upward slope because my mental and my soul and my connection, everything is going up. So now that this is getting clean on the inside and going up, I don't know what could be in store for me later on. I know God said he's going to make a way. He's a way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. Yeah, that's him. So it's in that and in that space where I am that I have a feeling of wholeness that I didn't have before. Where if you would look at my circumstance, you would expect that not to be there. If you, that's why we are not our circumstance. Um, I say more positive things to people when I see them outside in the street. Oh my gosh, you look so pretty today. Hi, how are you? How can I help you today? Just different ways that I'm just speaking to people. It makes me be more, you got to live more like Jesus. And Jesus lived with love and sacrifice and gratitude for his Father. So this is where I'm at. And I would love for y'all to stay on the journey with me. And I would also love for some of y'all to come along with me. That would be great. Yeah. Oh, who's that?